explain that day from your perspective and what you were doing, and how I guess how and what you had to do. This, like, did you know just from the data? Could you tell? I know that's very, like, a lot of people have a hard time talking about this because, it's a disaster. We lost 7 astronauts.
It takes me right back to the day.
It really
takes me right back to the time.
Yeah.
I usually don't talk about it much.
Okay.
But
share what you want.
Here's the way it was. I was on the transmitter, the same as I was for Columbia, STS-1.
Okay.
I was on the transmit side. Okay. And what that means when I say we're mission critical, I'm standing in front of a rack of equipment, and it's generating the signal that I'm going to transmit. It's modulating it with the data coming from Houston or from the LCC. The command data is modulated onto it. The ranging equipment is right next to me. It's sending the data that's modulated onto it, and I'm sending it out. Okay? So I have literally one switch right up here that says carrier on or carrier off. And carrier on means we're transmitting. Pushing it, it goes off and we're not. Okay? So in other words, if that piece of equipment stops working, not only are we not transmitting, but the real-time data link goes away too, because I'm creating it. I'm sending it up to the satellite. It's turning it back around. So if you stop transmitting, the receiver over there drops lock because there is no downlink. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I was doing. And here was the schedule. I remember the schedule exactly. At T plus 45 seconds, I did the handover to PDL. So that's MILA to PDL, DL, handover. And then the second handover happened at 1 minute and 15 seconds. That's T. Yeah, good T, Joe. T plus 1 minute and 15 seconds. I would hand over back to PDL. You got that?
Yeah.
This is T plus 75 seconds. Got that?
Yeah.
T plus 75. So at T plus 70 seconds, I was... Sorry about that.
You're good.
I was just like this, just watching the clock.
Yeah,
right?
You're ready.
And at 73 seconds, all the radios in the room, all 10 of them, went to noise. Because what we did, like in your car, when you get a radio station that locks up, you hear the music. You hear the people talking.
Right.
Well, with these radios, the data is too high to hear it. Data rates, you can't hear them. So what we would do is when we locked up the receiver, we'd turn the audio all the way up.
Wow.
That way, if you weren't looking at the radio and you all of a sudden heard noise, just static started, then you knew that radio dropped lock. And at T plus 73 seconds, the whole room burst into noise because we had 10 radios. 5 on the side I was doing. We had a whole nother system on the other side backing us up. 2 antennas, 2 sets of receivers, 2 transmitters.
So it's just all the sound.
All went to noise
yeah.
at T plus 73 seconds. 2 seconds before I was supposed to do the handover.
Wow.
And I just stayed focused and did what I was supposed to do at T plus 75 seconds. And to put this in some kind of perspective for you, I was in an aisle with maybe 20 racks. A rack takes up a 2 foot by 2 foot square on the floor and is 7 feet high. So it's a row of them, right straight down.
Yeah.
Okay. On the far end, you got the servo guy, his stuff. He's the antenna driver. Okay. And next to that, you had the transmit stuff. And then the ranging equipment. So I'm standing right there. About 10 feet to my left is the radio guy. and he's standing in front of the 5 radios on our side. And about 15 feet past him is the TV section. Now, at that time, we didn't have any onboard TV, not till after Columbia.
Yeah.
But he could see all the NASA feeds, right? And he had them up there watching. Nobody else could watch, but the chief tech was down there. He doesn't have to operate. He's making sure we all operate. But he's standing in front of the TV section. So we just turned to him, and I don't know who said it. Somebody said something, and then he just turned and looked at us, and he just said it blew up.
Gosh.
You know, and I know people all over the world were affected by it,
Yeah.
but Merritt Island, Florida was
Yeah.
probably about like people that were close to the program here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those people probably knew
Well, we knew more than
all the shuttle, all the astronauts there, and
we knew more
yeah.
than most people did,
Right.
because we could immediately look at the data, and we had range data.
Yeah.
We knew exactly how high up they were, exactly how fast they were going.
Yeah.
And one of the painful parts was I saw people, not at MILA, but other people that I knew, glued to the TV for 48 hours. When I didn't tell them, but
Yeah.
I knew already.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any, they didn't have a chance. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it was a sad day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I stayed till the next successful launch. It was 2 years later, 2.5 years later, it was Discovery,
Yeah.
returned to flight. I stayed until after that, before I left.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, and that's very impactful, I think, for people to realize like where you were during that time, and like that is wild from your perspective. And then thank you for doing the proper steps, you know.
Now it went on.
Yeah.
Because at T plus 5 minutes and 45 seconds, we didn't know much. We still didn't know much.
Yeah.
I remember
So you just
looking
kept
over
going?
to my supervisor and saying, "Do I do the Bermuda handover?" And he says, "Yeah, go ahead and do it."
Wow.
So I handed over nothing
Holy cow.
to Bermuda. You know,
That's
it's
crazy.
just